I am in the Chartreuse of Villeneuve-lez-Avignon, a place steeped in history where it would not surprise me if there were crimes. I may be fabulating, but I find that the place lends itself to it, and every year we organize here the Thriller Festival. This year the theme is Beyond Borders. Lot of fascinating authors, but the one I want as the victim of my interviews is Abir Mukherjee, the king of crime fiction in colonized India in the 20s. So I'm going to go around until I find him. Oh, he's alone. Oh.
Oh, hello, Kat.
Hello, Abir. Well, do you smoke opium alone?
I've just finished a quick smoke, and now I'm done.
To endure the summer weather in the south of France.
Well, yes, summer in November in the south of France is like July in Scotland.
Oh, it's hard to break away from the cold and rainy climate of Glasgow.
I miss it.
Oh, I imagine. Tell us everything, please. You were born to Indian parents, but in Scotland, right?
I was born near London, but we moved when I was 3 years old. We moved to Scotland. So I grew up in a very cold and wet place.
Could this culture shock have to do with your decision to write? A kind of therapy or a settling of scores with the colonizing British?
Oh, absolutely. It is definitely therapy. I grew up in a country where we didn't really learn about our history. We would sweep it under the carpet. And so I wanted to talk about that history. I wanted to talk about the colonial times. But I didn't want to write history because I'm lazy. So I wrote crime fiction. And it's brilliant. I enjoy it.
In the Calcutta Darjeeling attack, the name here in France, from your novel, you create a duo of investigators who will enjoy working together because we can read their adventures in your 5 books. Would you like to describe them, these 2 different men, please?
Sure. I don't know if they get on that well, but there are 2 central characters, an English detective called Captain Sam Wyndham and an Indian sergeant called Sat Banerjee. Captain Sam is a survivor of the First World War. He has lost his wife and his family. He's depressed. And he goes to India because it is slightly preferable to suicide.
An opium addict.
Oh, yes, don't forget the opium. Yes, he's an opium addict. To help him with his injuries and his wounds, he smokes opium. And he meets there an Indian sergeant, a young man called Sat Banerjee, who is young, he's intelligent, he's more intelligent than Sam. And between them, the 2 of them form this unlikely duo, like Holmes and Watson. And they solve murders in India. But at the same time, we are looking at the colonialism, the history of the British in India. And it's good fun. You should read the books. They're great.
I have already written. Okay. Your books are full of humor, which acts a bit like medicine for digestion. Colonization, its consequence, its injustice, its tragedies too, like the massacre in 1919 in Amritsar, are indigestions of some kind, and a remedy must be found. Is humor your medicine?
I like that. The books have never been described as indigestion remedies, but that's a very good analogy. I think humor is very important. I think humor is a very powerful tool. It can be a balm to soothe people, like a cream. It can be a knife. Humor can cut. And humor can bring people together. I think when we joke, we realize we see the humanity of other people. I think people can share jokes. And I'll give you an example. You know, they used to say the sun never set on the British Empire. And Gandhi said, that is because God does not trust the British in the dark.
Oh, la la.
And that sort of humor, I think, appeals to people. It appeals even to the British. So I think humor can be a very important weapon. But humor is also therapy. You know, when you come from a hard place, places like Glasgow or Marseille, hard places have a humor. hard, to help you get through life. And I think that's very important.
The best therapy and gratis.
Well, yes, exactly.
Okay, you also touch on the subject of mixed race people.
Yeah.
Neither Indians nor British. Nowhere at home, in fact. Annie is the perfect example. Difficult this condition of a person resulting from this mixture.
That's right. That's right. There was a whole class of people who were called Anglo-Indians, and they were descended from, when the British first arrived in India, they did not think they were superior. They would marry Indians, they would adopt Indian culture, and they had children. It was only later, when the British decided they were superior, that they became ashamed of these people. And so this whole bunch of people, this whole group of people, hundreds of thousands, were seen as a separate group. They were not accepted wholly by the British. They were not wholly accepted by the Indians. And yet they were a very, big, large community, and they worked on the railways mainly and other industries. But they were shunned by both sides. And I wanted to explore that. I wanted to explore this culture that felt they were Indians, but they did not feel 100% Indian. And I wanted to look at
rich things, but difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move through your novels as time passes. 1 year equals one novel.
Yes.
Please tell us about the latest one, which has just been released in France.
Les Ombres de Bombay.
Oh.
I write, it's set in 1923, but I write about things that upset me today. I write because I'm angry, and what is making me angry at the moment is the rise of populism and right-wing nationalism, not just in America and Europe, but also in India. I'm very scared by the rise of the nationalist Hindu government in India. And this book is about Hindu-Muslim politics in the 20s, but really I'm holding a mirror up to current-day India.
Yes.
And so this book opens with the murder of a Hindu philosopher, a man called Mukherjee, and Sat Banerjee is suspected of his killing. And very soon it appears there is going to be Hindu-Muslim riots, and Sam and Sat have to find the real killer before huge violence takes place.
Is this philosopher Mukherjee a new part of you?
Oh my! I describe him as an ass in the book, so he could be. He's an idiot, so he could be me. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. What do Indians think of your novels?
Indians, they like my novels. I'm very, very lucky that people write to me from all over the world, but especially places like India, and they like that. I don't apologize. They find most British writers who write about India feel like they have to say sorry. I don't feel I have to say sorry. I think everyone should say sorry to me because I am half Indian, half British. And they like the humor. They like that I can laugh at Indians. I laugh at Indian people. I laugh at British people. And they like that. I think we go back to humor. People believe that they can laugh at themselves and they like it.
This is the most important.
Yes, it is.
Where do your parents come from in India?
They come from Calcutta in Bengal. And so that is where Sam and Sat are based.
Yes.
Although they travel in the books, we go to Bombay, to Sambalpur, to Assam. But Calcutta is the heart.
You speak Bengali then?
That's right, I do.
I have a good friend who lives half in France and half in Kolkata.
Right, okay. Well, there you are. My mother lives half in UK, half in Calcutta.
Good. Okay, thank you, Abir, for this moment of travel in time and space. Yeah. Now I really want to eat a chicken tikka with a good naan.
I think that's a good call.
Still better than an opium pipe, not? Thank you, Abir.
Lovely to see you, Kat.